Well, good afternoon. This is John Hauser from my YouTube channel. Let's see, I've got it right here. Grumpy, grumpy old toad. My oldest daughter just recently bought me this big mug, and I have it full of hot liquid right now. Grumpy old toad. Toad. I thought it was funny. Anyhow, I'm here this afternoon to talk to you about the brutal, hard truth, the reality of friendships after age 75. My wife and I will both be 76 just very soon. And this is one of the things that you have to deal with as you get a little older, is the disappearance of friends. We once attended a rather small church, and we went to that church for about 4 years. And in that church, there were more people leaving that church, and they were leaving that church because 6 people were carrying them out, than there were people actually joining the church. In other words, they had more funerals than they had new members. And this church had its original pastor who'd been there for 40 some years, and he had his original congregation, and they were just, the truth of the matter is, they're just dying off. So this is the reality of being age 75 or older, is that people that you know and people that you associate with are gone. Many of the people that I knew in the military back in the late 60s and early 70s are no longer around. I've even tried to locate some of those people, and they're no longer with us. So this is the reality of it. When I read the life story of George Burns talked about how he was constantly having to make new friends because George Burns lived to be 100, and he outlived all of his family and all of his friends, so he was making new friends. So I want to talk to you today. I'm going to actually have nine tips on how to find and make new friends if you are at this age of 75 and above. And of course, it also works for young people. But one of the first things that my wife and I did when we moved to our present location, a new location, and we didn't know anybody that lived in this town. Nobody. And I can tell you the reasons why we moved later on. And it's not because we were in the witness protection program. No, that wasn't the reason. But we moved to a town where we didn't know anybody, so the very first thing that we wanted to do was to meet some new people and establish some new friendships and relationships. So one of the first things that we did early on was to find a new church to attend, and we were looking for a friendly church. Now, let's talk about the harsh truth of friends after age 75. I've actually got an outline. I got these points. Many of my old friends are gone. People that I was stationed with early in my military career, and people I was stationed with overseas. I am a Vietnam veteran. I was in South Vietnam from 71 to 72. That's some of these pictures you see hanging behind me. A lot of those people are gone, people I was stationed with. A close personal friend that was very strongly helped me establish my Christian faith. His name was Charlie Yunkin. We met in the early 70s. He passed away in 2014. So this is one of the things that you deal with as you get older. But the title of this is The Harsh Truth About Friends After Age 75. Many old friends are gone. Many of my... So what I want to talk about is getting new friends and sticking with some old friends and realizing that you have some friends that are no longer with you. All right, so here's point number 1 in all of these points. I've actually got 9 of them, so I'll move a little faster here. If you are currently married, this is very important what I'm about to say. If you are currently married, make sure that you are friends with your spouse. Your spouse needs to be your best friend. I know a lot of people in our age range. They've been married for a long time. My wife and I got married when we were very young, and we're still, relatively happy. And I won't tell the joke about happily married for 2 years. I'm not going to tell that joke. But what I'm going to say is this: we're still very happy after all these years because we have built a friendship between us, and we talk about things. This afternoon, my wife and I we went out and took a walk, and we ended up walking about an hour and a half. And in these walks, we solve our problems. We solve the world's problems. We talk about our next vacation, our next trip, or whatever it is we're planning to do. But we have built a friendship where we can talk to each other and we can relate to each other and understand what the other person is thinking. So the very first point that you have to know is that you must be a friend with your spouse. You need to have a happy friendship with your spouse. I have met so many people in our age range where they always act like they're angry at the spouse, unhappy with the spouse. They talk bad about each other at home. They talk bad about each other when they're in public. They don't act very friendly. Number one, your spouse has got to be your best friend. Your spouse, your wife or your husband must be your best friend above all others. Part of that is that you also need to be friends with your family members, brothers and sisters and children. Make sure you have a good friendship with them. I have known so many people over the years that don't talk to their children. They don't talk to their relatives. They don't, they're mad at them about something that happened 50 years and can't remember why they're mad at them, so they don't build that friendship. I believe in building a friendship with relatives. Okay, let's move on. That's number one. Number one, if you're married, make sure that your spouse is your friend and that you get along very well. Okay, number two, in the book of Proverbs says, in the book of Proverbs, which you'll find in the Old Testament, it says that if a man is going to have friends, he must show himself to be friendly. Now, that would be either he or him. No in between. It's he or him. You have to show yourself to be friendly. Okay? And some people don't know how to be friendly, but it can be learned. You can learn at any age how to be friendly. So that's number two. It's the book of Proverbs says, to have friends, you must show yourself to be friendly. And if you have a friendly nature and a friendly attitude, I promise you, you can make some new friends. And we'll go a little deeper and show you some more here. All right. Now, here's something that my wife and I learned a long time ago about friendships and how to meet new friends and how to acquire new friends. Attend a friendly church. When we moved into this area, we didn't know anybody. We had no relatives in this area. It was just me and my wife and the dog. The dog doesn't say a lot. So we had to find some friends. And one of the ways that we found new friends was by going to church and meeting people at church and saying, hey, let's go to lunch. Hey, let's get a cup of coffee. And get to know new people. That's very important. Now, if you happen to be in the Wilson, North Carolina area, or anywhere in a close proximity, we attend Tabernacle Baptist Church on Airport Road. Tabernacle Baptist Church on Airport Road in Wilson, North Carolina. It's a very friendly church. They have a lot of great support groups. They have divorce care. They have grief care. They have connect groups. This is a place where you can go and get involved and develop and meet new people and to develop new friendships. There's no reason and there's no excuse to sit at home and say, woe is me, I ain't got no friends. And if you'll hit the like and subscribe button, I'll be your friend. I promise. I promise. Okay, next. Go to a place that you can go to where you can meet new people. This is number four. The number three was attend a friendly church. Number four, Go to places that you can meet new people. This could be your community events. Don't do dumb things like go to pubs or bars or any of that stuff. That's a dumb way to meet people. But there are, in most towns, there are community events. There are community events for seniors. There's community events for young people. There are a lot of times things like book clubs. There are car clubs. There's a lot of things available where a person can meet and make some new friends. Okay, number 5, we've already talked about briefly, but this is important. Learn how to be friendly. There's a great book out there that I read many years ago by Norman Vincent Peale, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, I know a lot of Christian friends are going to look at me and they're going to say, oh, his theology is not good. We're not talking about theology. We're talking about friendship. We're talking about, he teaches in his book how to make friends. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The book's been around forever. It is worth reading. I read it many years ago. It was a big help to me. And I know what a lot of people are going to say. They're going to say, John, you're some sort of an extrovert and you don't have any problem meeting people. Well, I'm going to have to say that is actually true. I was in sales for many years, but before I went into sales, I was not good at meeting people. I didn't have the best personality. I don't claim that I do now. And I was actually scared of meeting new people. Now, understand, I am a Vietnam veteran. I went to Vietnam for a year. I don't remember experiencing a lot of fear when I was in Vietnam, but I do remember experiencing a lot of fear when I first learned about meeting new people and getting to know new people. But you have to learn it. It is a learned skill, and I don't care how old you are. You can learn how to meet new people. You can learn how to be friendly. All right, that was number 5. All right, now number 6. What would be the first thing me and my wife would do if we moved to a new town? Well, I've already talked about this briefly, but one of the first things that we do when we move to a new location, and because of my job, and I was in the military and I worked for a company that transferred me around, one of the first things that we would do is we would try and connect with a church, a group of people of like faith, like interest, like beliefs. Okay, now we happen to attend a Baptist church. I do not preach or promote any type of Baptist religion because many people have taken Baptist and Methodist and turned it into a religion. That's not me. That's not what we believe. I'll go into that into another discussion. But we would look for a church that would have similar beliefs to our beliefs. And we would find those and we would attend them and we would make new friends. Some of the greatest friends we've ever had. We have some friends that live in Florida. Their name is Richard and Joyce White. Richard is now 80 years old and they live down in Florida. He just had his 80th birthday. We actually met them in around 1975, and we met them because we were attending a church. We went to church, and they had recently moved into the area. We were both in the military, and he had recently been transferred into the area. I was recently transferred into the area. Of course, we had our wives with us, and we started attending church, and that's how we met them. We became the best of friends, go out for pizza and everything. And here we are 50 plus years later, and we're still friends. We're actually going to go see them sometime in April. But that's a great way. If you don't know anybody, it's a great way. Now, there are other things. There are different organizations, different lodges. You know, if you're not a Christian, there are other ways to meet other people. But it's up to you to reach out. Here, it's like a 3D, you know, those old 3D movies where you wore the glasses. You have to reach out. See, it'd be like in the old movie. It's like the hands coming to get you. You have to reach out. Okay. Read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was actually number 7. I got ahead of myself. But there's also other books that you can read. And believe it or not, there's plenty of information on the internet on how to make friends and how to be friendly. I recently saw a video by a young lady, and the title of the video was, I Don't Have Any Friends Anymore. And she was young, and she went on and on in this video about how she had no friends. I'm like, it's a nice video. I hope you get some likes and clicks, and somebody will subscribe. But there are ways to make friends in today's world. It's not that hard. Okay, number 8, ask for wisdom. In the book of James, which you'll find in the New Testament, the author says that if you ask of wisdom, God gives wisdom abundantly. And not only does he give wisdom, but he gives guidance and he gives direction. And that's one thing I love about the book of Proverbs, which we read a chapter every day, is the book of Proverbs tells you how to get wisdom, how to get direction, how to get insight. So if you want to look at it from the spiritual side, ask God, ask the Lord for wisdom. Now, you'll have no greater friend than the Lord Jesus Christ. Remember, Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He died. And 3 days later, he was resurrected. And someday he's coming back. And he paid the price and a penalty for all of the sins and things that we've done wrong. You'll never have a better friend than Jesus Christ, the Lord Jesus Christ. And I invite you, if you haven't had the experience of learning about salvation and learning about God and learning about Jesus, that you investigate that. The best friend you'll ever have, like the old song says, is, I have a friend in Jesus. And of course, there was the song, it's almost comical, Spirit in the Sky. You might want to look that up and listen to it sometime. It was by a guy, his name was Greenbaum, and he wrote this song about Spirit in the Sky. You know, you got a friend in Jesus. But seriously, best friend you'll ever have is the Lord Jesus Christ. Learn about it, okay, and learn about him. Now, at where we go to church, under that same one, where we go to church, the ladies have these coffee gatherings or coffee cliques. They also have ladies groups, ladies Bible studies, ladies taking trips together. So there's a lot for people to do. My wife has a Bible study on Tuesday morning. They do a breakfast one morning. They go to lunch one morning. They get together and play board games 1 or 2 Saturdays a month. All of these things are available if you'll just look around and meet some new people. And you can have a great, I tell you, my wife right now has the best social life that she's ever had. I mean, she has more social life than I do. I stay home, play with the dog, watch the cars. But we do have a men's coffee group, informal, that we meet a couple of times a month, and we have men's fellowship. There's a lot available to you if you'll just take the opportunity. Okay, now here's the last one. Here's point number 9. Being alone or having friends is a decision you must make. No one can make that decision for you. No one can make the decision for you to go out and find new friends. No one. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to you to connect with people that you already know. And at this age, my wife and I know a lot of people who have lost their spouse. We have a close friend that just recently lost his wife, and we know what he's gone through. We know, but it's up to the individual to reach out to friends and to family, to reconnect and to build those friendships. It is a personal decision. You can decide to be home, alone, and lonely, or you can decide to get out there and make some new friends. That's your decision. This is John Hauser with my YouTube channel saying please like and subscribe. I started this January 1 of this year. I'm building a YouTube channel. I am retired. Going to be 76 years old this year. My wife and I are both about the same age. My wife is actually 27 days older than me, just 27 days. And all these years, I have told her that I married an older woman. She's older by 27 days. And we're both retired. Just got back from our trip in Texas visiting with our oldest daughter. Had a great time. And thanks for watching. And I'll hit the button and say goodbye.